Well, hello, it's Christy with Green Living Off Grid, and today we're going to be planting some tomatoes. If you look closely, you'll see that this one has two that are growing together. I'm going to show you how to split tomatoes apart so that you can get a 2-for-1 deal when you find them growing like this at your local shop. I'm also going to talk to you about a little bit about companion planting. You'll notice that in these bins, I have some lettuce plants that I've started in early spring. It was before it was warm enough for tomatoes to grow. I started those lettuce, and I've already harvested quite a few lettuce plants, and I've got some new ones coming up. The advantage of growing lettuce with tomatoes is that as the tomato grows up, the lettuce will fill in around the base of the tomato plants without affecting the nutrients that these plants need. It will also provide the shade over the ground area around the tomato and will allow you to keep the weeds down around the tomato plants as it grows. Alright, so I'll carefully and gently squeeze the side of the container like that, and you can see the roots are kind of bound up with each other. So I'm going to gently pull them apart. Just gently. Try, if you see that this one's obviously going to that plant, some of the bigger roots especially, I try to be more cautious in how I pull them apart. But this will enable the plants to grow better, because when you separate them, then they're able to get more nutrients from the soil around them. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to carefully look and see where it's joined. It's possible it's kind of joined on itself, in which case we're going to have to cut it to try to get them separated. So I got to get it as far enough apart to kind of see what's going on with this root base, because it almost looks like it could be literally fused right here. And if that's the case, then I'll get my little pruners carefully to just gently separate in here. I'm just going to gently sever that connection right here. There it goes. Making sure that we still have a good root base on this other one. They both have a good root base, but they're now officially severed. They're separated now, so we can plant them in each own separate bin. Okay, I have the hole about as deep as this root base is, and now we're going to set it down inside. Another thing that can be helpful when you have a start that you're transplanting that has a lot of flowers, those kind of take energy from the green growth of the plant, so I'm going to snip these off to help it get more energy into reestablishing those roots and growing out the greens for a little bit more as it grows taller. Well, here it's been a few hours since I transplanted my split tomato plants. For the most part, they're doing okay. There's a little bit of droop on them, some more than others. This one had to have roots cut too. As I separated it, it's got probably the most amount of shock that it's in of the tomatoes. Other than that, they're doing okay. Just a little bit of transplant shock, especially when it comes to messing with the roots like we did. But I have a lot of experience with this, and generally you just give them some good water and just keep an eye on it over the next week or so, and if there's droop on them as a result of separating roots, it usually only takes, like I said, a few days, and they'll perk right back up. Well, it took about a week, but all my plants have perked up from the transplant, split the roots, and you can see they're growing great. Even this little guy that had wilted down is looking great. So yeah, all of them are doing really well, and all of them were double plants. They had split roots. We had to cut, almost all of them had to be cut apart, and you can see they're just growing great. So our transplant split tomato trick worked.